5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Had a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. One of those being the notorious one, Conor McGregor, is back in the headlines, of course, and I want to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to touch briefly on the Masvidal thing, and I'm a little pissed about the fact that he sucker punched someone. As a professional fighter, you should not be sucker punching anyone, no matter how disrespected you might feel by them. Anyway, that's for later in the discussion. And also, I'm going to touch really quickly on the heavyweight showdown between Chris Daukus and Curtis Blaydes, which is coming up as of tomorrow night. So first off, I want to read you a little article on the latest arrest of Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was arrested again, this time for dangerous driving, Tuesday in West Dublin, according to a report. Per the Irish Independent, Conor McGregor was detained after being pulled over in his Bentley Continental GT by Irish police between Lucan and Palmerstown. His vehicle, worth an estimated $187,000, was briefly seized by police before it was returned. The Irish police did not name McGregor because of the country's privacy restrictions, but they did confirm an arrest was made. The Irish police arrested a man aged in his 30s in relation to an incident of dangerous driving in the Palmerstown area yesterday evening, Tuesday, 22nd of March, 2022. The man was taken to Lucan Garda Station, where he was later charged. He has been released pending an appearance before Blanchardstown District Court at a later date. If convicted, McGregor could face a fine equating to $5,502 up to 6 months in prison. $5,502. Okay, that's pretty specific. Just found that strange. And two, $5,500, but you're going to give me those 200 pennies, buddy. That $2 is coming. I don't know about the 5,500, but I know you better give me that too. Anyway, McGregor's representative Karen Kessler issued a brief statement about the situation to MMA Fighting. Mr. McGregor was driving to the gym when he was stopped by the Irish police for alleged road traffic violations. He passed the drug and alcohol test taken at the station. That's a relief. If you're a McGregor fan, if you're a McGregor hater, it's not a relief. But either way, I'm a little bit surprised about that because with the whole Proper 12 empire and, the videos of him driving down the street and smoking on a blunt at the same time, and of course, I'm an outsider. I don't know Conor personally, but as an outsider, that was a little bit of a concern for me. Getting tested for drugs and alcohol while he was driving down the street. But hey, he was supposedly on his way to the gym. So just like any consummate professional, maybe he doesn't train loaded on drugs and alcohol, which, good for him. But that still doesn't take away that McGregor has a lengthy list of 18 convictions to his name. Wow. Many of which are driving related, according to the report. Other publicly known McGregor incidents include conviction for assaulting an older man in Dublin pub, an arrest in Miami for allegedly damaging a man's cell phone, and of course, the infamous throwing a dolly through a bus window carrying various fighters and cornermen for UFC 222, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Okay, really the only thing I have to say about this is supposedly some sort of reckless driving incident. To me, this just does not all add up. That seems kind of strange. I don't think reckless driving here, would include a physical arrest, unless perhaps, I don't know, you were being belligerent with the cops, maybe resisting arrest, or impeding an investigation. Anyway, that part of it kind of seems strange to me. I didn't feel like this would be an offense where you would just automatically be arrested for. But I could be wrong. If you have any more details on that, please let me know it down in the comments. I would love to know about that. But, we can all chalk this up to this has really been a common problem for McGregor since he has become so rich and famous worldwide. He is obviously one of those guys that feels some sense of entitlement being in the position that he is in. And I think he ought to be a little bit more appreciative of being as fortunate as he is to be worth all of the millions that he is and to be living this particular life that most folks only ever dream about. But who am I? I've never lived that life. So, who am I to judge someone who is living that life? I just know I feel like I would be appreciative. And I think that McGregor, if he actually does some time, I think for him, it's either going to take him just getting older and having a little less testosterone in his body, or it's going to take them actually forgetting about the fact that he has millions of dollars, take away any price tag on him being able to buy his way out of things that he gets himself into, and actually locking him up and putting him behind bars for a little bit and letting him lose his freedom for a little while and feel what that feels like and feel the pinch of that and feel the pinch of living like a criminal behind bars and to where your money and your fame and your social status cannot save you. I think that's what it's going to take for Conor, because obviously he's living a very sense of entitled life over there. So Masvidal. All right, I just want to say this. So I'm reading a lot of stuff online. I even read where Khabib is saying Colby Covington should be blacklisted in UFC after Jorge Masvidal's arrest and pressing charges against Jorge. Guys, listen. I don't know all of the details of that case, but it sounds like Colby even maybe got a tooth knocked out. Now, everything that Colby said to or about Jorge prior to that fight was under the umbrella of promoting a UFC fight. And Jorge Masvidal supposedly did this because Colby talked about his children, this and that and the other. He never talked about his children. He talked about Jorge being a shit father, which, maybe he is. Maybe he's not. I don't know. Either way, obviously, Jorge was offended by that, but he didn't even talk about his children. He talked about him being a shit father, and, that, of course, relates to who? Well, his children. You can't be a shit father if you don't have any children to be a father of. So I guess that's where Jorge got that from, but his lashing out, I think, has way less to do with his children and more him being offended by being called a shit father. So I just want to say that right out of the gate. I'm not taking up for Colby. The whole heel persona, it's gotten extremely old to me, and I'm one of those people that believe it is 100% a character. And anyone who knows Colby, you hear their take and their account of him, and it seems like all of them all across the board say, oh, he's really cool, man. He's cool as hell. He's nothing like that when the cameras are off. It's all a show for him. It is this character of a heel that he's created. He's actually a really nice guy. That's what everyone seems to say. So, but the character's getting played out. I'm getting tired of it. I think everyone's getting a little tired of it. So I'm not taking up for Colby in this instance. But in relation to what Khabib said, no, Khabib, go sit down, dude. Shut up. If somebody runs up to me and bum rushes me and sucker punches me in a public place, which I have been sucker punched before, and you can really cause some damage on someone from sucker punching them. And that's just messed up, man. That's a punk move. And I don't care what anybody says. I see a lot of people online, oh, Kobe deserved it. You know, he shouldn't have talked so much junk, this and that and the other. And now here you have Khabib, who has a huge platform, obviously chiming in, saying that Kobe shouldn't have pressed charges. Come on, dude. You know, maybe, obviously he has a strong opinion on this because of his background with Conor and the way he lashed out at Conor's team after that fight. And, obviously Conor or none of his team pressed charges against Khabib. So maybe because he got by with something kind of similar. Well, no, I'm not even going to say that's similar. It's not similar. It's not the same. You know, you you can't just run up to someone in a public place from behind and punch them in the face, dude. You just, in my estimation, that is never okay, and it's never going to be okay. All right. Now, I think Khabib needs to sit down and shut up with that, to be honest. I don't blame Kobe. Everything that he said about Masvidal was under the umbrella of the UFC and promoting that pay-per-view event between himself and Masvidal. Maybe there's some actual beef there. Maybe there is actually some hard feelings. But still, you know, everything that he did was legal. And then they fought legally for 25 minutes in a sanctioned MMA match. And, you know, that's legal. That's okay. You know, any punch that Masvidal landed during that fight, fair game, clean. The punch where he dropped Kobe, beautiful right hook by Masvidal. Great, man. Good job. That was a beautiful punch. It would have been nice if you could have finished it out there. But running up to him in a public place and swing it on someone, that is a punk move, a cowardly move. And I had a guy in my comments leave a comment, I think it was yesterday, where he said that. He said that should be shamed, not celebrated. And I agree with him completely. We should not be online celebrating what Masvidal did. That's not cool, man. It's not cool. And if you were Kobe and you're just out trying to have dinner and someone runs up on you and, knocks one of your teeth out while you're not even looking at them, don't even try to pretend like that wouldn't make you feel some sort of way. So I think, I mean, this is America. Everyone has a right to an opinion, but my opinion is I just think that's a punk move. That's cowardly, and I do not celebrate Masvidal having done that. I think he should be ashamed of that, especially being a professional fighter. Dude, you're a professional fighter. You're supposed to be one of the baddest men on the planet. Why do you have to run up behind someone to punch them? Anyway, moving on. This weekend, we have Chris Daukus against Curtis Blaydes. Now, I pulled up some of those guys' stats right here. So, Chris Daukus, he lost his last fight. He looks like he's only had 5 fights in the UFC, but every one of his wins have been by KO or TKO. We had, one referee stoppage, but he's had 3 performance of the nights. That's pretty impressive. I'm not saying Chris Daukus can't grapple, but he is obviously a stand-up fighter. And even in his last fight, which he did lose to Derek Lewis, he got hit, he got hurt, and then he continued to try to stand up and stand in the pocket and strike. Now, more times than not, a good striker can be turned into a wrestler when he gets hurt. Okay? Well, he got hurt in this last fight against Derek Lewis, and he still didn't try to grapple. He still didn't try to wrestle. He still tried his hand on his feet with striking, and then, of course, he ended up getting knocked out by Derek Lewis. But if he didn't try to take that fight to the ground after getting stunned by Lewis, then I think it's pretty safe to say he's a striker. He's not going to be looking to take anything to the ground, and it probably means as well that is not where his strength is. His strength is obviously in the stand-up striking realm. Now that leads me to Curtis Blaydes. This could be a problem for Chris Daukus because undoubtedly the strength of Curtis Blaydes is and always has been his wrestling and his ground and pound sort of attack. He does have a couple of knockouts on his record, but as I'm looking through Curtis Blaydes wins, he's got a couple of knockouts here and there, but TKO, unanimous decision, unanimous decision, unanimous decision, unanimous decision. Um, it looks like as far as in the UFC, he's got 6, 7 unanimous decisions here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like he's got about 5 or 6 KOs or TKOs, or ref stoppage sort of thing. So it's not that Curtis Blaydes can't knock guys out, but what he likes to do, because I remember I actually went to the fight where he fought Junior Dos Santos, because it was here in Raleigh, and actually went to that fight and was shocked that he beat Junior Dos Santos via knockout, because Dos Santos is known to be a great boxer and a great striker. But a lot of times these wrestling guys can get their opponent so concerned about that shot coming, and so concerned about getting taken down, that they're constantly looking for it, and dropping their hands, getting ready to sprawl out, push down on their opponent's heads, so that they can get away from that shot that they know is inevitably coming. And the wrestlers a lot of times will fake the shot, fake the shot, fake the shot, and then when their opponent drops their hands, they come over the top with a punch that ends their opponent. Much like what Khabib did with Conor. People were shocked when Khabib actually dropped Conor in that fight, but that's how he did it. Conor, he shot a couple of times at Conor, and was not able to get him down the first time he tried, but Conor was looking for that. He was constantly looking for that shot from Khabib, and he dropped his hands because of it. Khabib faked low, like he was going to change levels, and then came over the top with an overhand right, and that's how he caught Conor. That's how Curtis Blaydes caught Junior Dos Santos in their fight. So Curtis Blaydes does have the ability to win this fight via TKO, but Chris Daukus is going to be extremely outmatched in the wrestling realm. And being that he has 5 fights in the UFC, and all of them have been TKO or KO wins, and even his one loss has been via KO where he was knocked out. That goes to show he's just not a guy who's going to wrestle unless he has to, unless he's forced to. Thinking he's going to be forced to in this fight. So as far as my pick, this one's a pretty easy one for me, to be honest with you. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a fun, entertaining, enjoyable type fight to watch. As much of a huge UFC fan as I am, I would love to say, man, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a banger. Go watch this. If you miss it, you're an idiot, because this is just going to be a fight for the ages. It's probably not. This is going to be Chris Daukus pushed up against the fence, possibly taken down to the mat, ground and pounded. This is going to be a grimy, ugly grappling match, and unless you're just one of those people that just gets into that sort of thing, you're probably not going to love this fight too much. But so I'm definitely going to have to pick Curtis Blaydes to win this fight. But hey, man, you never know. And Chris Daukus is coming off of a loss here to Derek Lewis. He may be looking at trying to bum rush Curtis Blaydes, catch him with something, get him stunned, and maybe get the TKO finish early on while he's still, really explosive. Because you have to look at, too, once Curtis Blaydes takes him down a few times, wrestles him, fills his muscles up with blood, gets him tired, Chris Daukus is likely going to have a tough time when he stands up, having that same pop and explosiveness in his strikes. So if Chris Daukus is going to get this win at all, it's going to have to be by knockout, and I'm thinking it's probably going to have to be quick, because if it lasts through the first round, through the second round, through the third round, I guarantee you a large portion of this fight is going to be on the mat or him trying to repel Curtis Blaydes' wrestling and ground attack, which is very tiresome. Very, very tiresome. It just is. It just is, guys. And so I think if this fight goes on into the later rounds, it's just going to be more difficult for Chris Daukus to get any sort of win here. And not only that, but he's definitely not going to win via wrestling. If Chris Daukus comes in and beats Curtis Blaydes via his wrestling and grappling, I would just be 100% shocked and flabbergasted. So I'm going with Curtis Blaydes. Really haven't seen enough of Chris Daukus' wrestling to really be able to know whether he's going to be able to withstand it throughout the duration of the fight. So I don't really want to pick a method of victory, whether it be ground and pound TKO finish, some sort of head and arm choke submission by Curtis Blaydes, or he just grinds them out to a unanimous decision. I don't really want to pick a method of victory, but let me just say Curtis Blaydes gets this win pretty unanimously and pretty dominantly. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. And if you have not as of yet, please subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you can get notifications. And I will see you next time. Peace. I'm zombie but awake, 밤비가 내려와. Can't wait, no time is game, so I just put it on my way.